Hello, I am Arianne and I'm going to narrate about or discuss about credibility and validity analysis. Thank you. So, coming to the elements of credibility and validity, there is independent versus self-interested. Is the person writing or reporting the story independent, or does he or she have some self-interest at stake in the story? There is also multiple source versus one source. Are there multiple sources of information in the story? If so, do the sources create a fair balance of opinions, or does all information come from one source? There is also verifies versus asserts. Do the sources verify information in the story or merely assert or claim? In other words, is there real evidence in the story that claims made by sources in are true? There's also authoritative and informed versus uninformed. Are their sources in the article authoritative and informed? Do they demonstrate as expertise or knowledge about the subject matter? How can you tell? There's also named versus unnamed. Named sources are almost always considered more credible than anonymous sources. Are there in this article named are the sources in this article named or anonymous? Be aware if unnamed officials as sources of information. So in this slide, I'm going to do the three article analysis about these three articles, and also I'll be talking about independent versus self-interest and multiple sources versus one source. So the news story one, the title says that the title is exclusive and concerned that terror teams have selected targets and targets ready to strike. Source is from ABC News, and that is October 2nd, 2019. So about independent versus self-interest. So based on the information that the way this article was published, the article independent. This is because is independent because the writer avoids using his opinions in the article, but cites sources that support the information he decides to use in this article. This really shows that this article is independent. For example, of sources the writer uses to support his information used article the Department of Homeland Security, the US authorities, the European authorities, and also the intelligence and law enforcement officials. This makes the story independent. So coming to multiple sources versus one source, this story, in the news story, the writer uses in this story the writer uses multiple resources to support his information so as to update the reader in a special way, alongside making readers really understand what he was communicating in his article. For example, of the examples of sources used include the his information so that to update the reader in a special way, alongside making readers really understand that what he was communicating in the article. For example, resources used including the Department of Homeland Security in the authorities, the European authorities, and also the intelligence and law enforcement officials. You can refer to the Spectre 2010. So the second news story, where the title says that Walmart announces Great for You food labeling initiative. The source is Walmart, and the date was February 7, 2012. If you try to analyze this Walmart video, you will realize that it is really self-interested, because here I'm just analyzing to the independent versus self-interest. So the store made this video to attain its own interests like branding and also increasing its sales and customers. The video uses only one-sided resource, and the resource is only one, yet she's also an employee of Walmart. If this goes successful, the store will meet its self-interest of customers and brands. You can refer to Walmart 2012. So coming to to analysis of if it's multiple source or one source or one source, the story uses only one source, who is Andrea Thomas, the Walmart SVP of Sustainability. This helps the viewers to get the information that is clear and accurate because it comes from a reliable source who is first hand. You can also refer to Walmart 2012. Coming to the third story, the title says grief and protests follow shooting of a teenager source. The source, it says that grief and protests follow shooting of a teenager. The source is New York Times, where the date was released is August 10, 2019. So I'm going to analyze about on independent versus self-interest. In this story, the story is independent because the writer avoids to use his opinions and claims throughout the story. Due to the fact that the story is emotional, the writer quotes many people and includes many sources to make sure that the information he uses is really valid, alongside not being not being one-sided, which affects the story, increases bias. You can refer to Bossman 2014. The writer used many multiple resources. So here I'm coming to the analysis of multiple sources versus one source. So we are going to see if the story. I'm going to explain to see if if the story is multiple source or one source. So the writer used many multiple sources in this news article to support his information, to make sure that this information is really valid. The examples of sources the writer uses include quotes from the police, the mayor, the mother of Brown, the victim, the child who was the victim, the quote from the Obama, and more other to make his article valid despite being emotional. You can also refer to Bossman 2014. So as continuing to analyze these three articles, so I'm going to analyze on verifies or versus assets, and authoritative and informed versus uninformed. So coming to the first article, if you analyze the news story carefully, you will realize that the source do not verify but claim due to the reason that they do not provide enough information about the main idea of the article. For example, they do not know exactly when and where the attack will take place based on the information they provide. Also, the Department of Homeland Security says it knows nothing about this information, which means that the sources assert but do not verify. You can refer to Esposito 2010. So coming to the authoritative and informed versus uninformed, remember I'm still on the first story. Analyzing the information in the article clearly, you will realize that the sources are uninformed because they use words like targets are believed, which means they're not really sure. Also, the Department of Homeland Security said it knows nothing about the information provided by the sources yet. It is the best source to confirm the information, meaning that the sources are uninformed. You can refer to Esposito 2010. So, analyzing the second story on verifies versus asserts. The one source is the video asserts because we are not sure of the information due to the fact that we do not hear from any of the customers to know that the information provided by Thomas is true, even though she's a first-hand information working at Walmart. So coming to the authoritative and informed versus informed, analyzing the information in the video, you will realize that the source is informed and authoritative because Thomas, the only source used, works in Walmart, and she's the right person to give us first-hand information about the campaign. This makes us trust the information she provides because it has security from the company, which makes her authoritative. So the third story about the third story where on verifies versus asserts, the thought the sources in the article really verifies that what happened in the story due to the fact that the writer uses the source that can truly give right information about the event that happened. The writer uses the most relevant sources, including the police and even the quote from the mother of deceased Brown, deceased of the deceased Brown, which really verifies what happened. You can refer to Bosman 2014. Uh, Coming to see if the story is authoritative and informed, or uninformed. Based on the sources and the quotes from the sources the writer used, the sources are really informed and authoritative. The writer uses sources like the police and the mother of deceased Brown, including other relevant sources, including more other showing more light and understanding of the event that happened. For example, the mother of deceased Brown was quoted speaking on how her son was taken from her, and this really confirms how the sources are informed about what is happening on the event being reported. You can refer to Bosman 2014. Thank you. We're continuing to analyze these three articles, and we're coming to named versus unnamed, and in your and the opinion this story, and to see if the opinion this story is credible, and to ask ourselves why or why not. So, to the first article or the first story, the article is named source is named used named sources. The writer includes the specific names of the sources he got information from and respective information. The examples of sources the writer uses to support his information used include the Department of Homeland Security, the US authorities, the European authorities, and also the intelligence and law enforcement officials. So, in my opinion, I may ask myself if the story is credible. In the article I think is credible according to my opinion. This is because the writer uses many resources that helps to generate much information, and he does not ignore information on their homeland security to so that he makes his article straight. He becomes honest and includes that the Homeland Security knows nothing about the information provided, even though he had provided more information claiming the attack. So Coming to the second story, the single source used in the video is named. The writer uses Andrea Thomas Thomas, an employee of Walmart, and gives information in details about the campaign. The video also clarifies what she says, according to Walmart 2012. So, in my opinion, the story is not credible. This is because the reporter uses only one source from Walmart, which leaves the question in my mind: why customers were not reached out which were not reached out to about this campaign, since it had been already put in place. That is my opinion. So, I think the story is not credible. So, and coming to the third story, analysis, the story used in the article, the sources used in this article, in this third article, I think in the article are named, and the writer respectively clarifies the information provided by all the sources, like the information provided by all the sources. The writer quotes different people, including the police and even the mother of Brown, the deceased, alongside many other sources that are clear and well named. Like I'm saying this according to Bestman. So, in my opinion, the story is credible. This is because the author uses many relevant sources that easily make the reader understand clearly that what is happening in the story. This one makes the story credible. So, coming to this slide, it's a continuation where I may ask my questions that what questions are you left with after reading these, or watching these stories? So, and another question says that does the article or the video qualify as news? So, why or why not? So, I'm going to analyze these three stories again. So, in the first article, the first story, so I may ask a question that why does the DHS say that say they know nothing about the claims on the attack? Isn't it a crime for the sources to provide information that puts the citizens in on tension, yet the DHS know nothing about it? So, and this article qualifies to be news because news inform the audience about the event that are happening at the specific time and always need attention. This article is informing the audience about an attack that may happen, for them to be attentive about it. So, you may refer to Harcap 2017. And coming to the second story or the second article, so why does the reporter use only one source, and even so a source from Walmart only? That is my question. So, why didn't the reporter include a source from the customers to know what they think about the campaign? So, I think this video does not qualify to be news because it is just a campaign to benefit the company to meet its goals and interests. So, in this case, this video is in form because is in form of advert for the campaign, but not the news, because it's just an advert that is used in the campaign to benefit the company. So, coming to the third story or the third article, I may ask the question that did the cop kill Brown just because he's black? In this happening to is this happening as a result of racism? Why do I always hear cases of white cops killing black citizens? That is Those are my questions. So this article qualifies to be news. This is because it gives special details and information about an event that is happening or that happened, and this clarifies that this clarifies it as news because it is informative. So for more information about my PowerPoint presentation, you can refer to these references. So thank you so much for following my presentation.